Have you ever wondered, what's the greater purpose of my project beyond the end deliverable? Or thought to yourself, why did they choose this project to begin with in the first place? If you have, you're not alone. And in today's video, I want to show you the answer to your project's greater purpose, plus show you how every organization can use portfolio management to help it achieve its objectives. Hi, I'm John Donohoe, and I'm responsible for the enterprise PMO and portfolio management at Star Alliance. Having a sense of purpose and meaning in what we do is important to all of us. Today, I want to share some insights that I gained that all started with a question from a project manager that helped me appreciate and understand the importance and the true power that purpose plays in all of our projects, and how portfolio management, in part, can help answer part of the question to your project's greater purpose. This is Mira. She's 27 years old and an exceptional project manager. I noticed Mira was a little bit different. She didn't have her normal level of energy and enthusiasm and can-do attitude. Then one day she came up to me and asked, "What's the purpose of this project? Why did we select this project to begin with in the first place?" She said, "Having purpose and knowing the greater purpose of what I'm doing is not only important to me, but to all my team members." Well, this question surprised me because I thought every project manager knows their project's purpose. It's the end deliverable, right? But the more I thought about this question and reflected, the more I understood how important this question of what's the greater purpose your project really is. Every project has many purposes, and every project manager needs to understand and know what is your project's highest purpose. And when I refer to highest purpose, I'm talking about how does your project help the organization achieve its objectives? Plus, how does your project's end result somehow make our lives just a little bit better? This is your project's highest purpose. So do you, as a project manager, know your current project's highest purpose? Because knowing your project's higher purpose is a great source of motivation, higher performance, and more importantly, greater fulfillment for you and for your team. Providing a sense of purpose is fundamental to leadership and managing in the 21st century. So let's see how purpose impacts the bigger picture of its positive impact to our lives, because I think we'll get some sense of how purpose relates to then our projects. Purpose is why we do things. It's a key part of what makes us human. It's a source of direction and energy. And purpose is about giving, not receiving. It's our intrinsic human desire and capacity to make a difference and be part of something larger. Psychologists call it the pathway to happiness because they know that people with a strong sense of purpose have a much higher mental health and are generally happier overall. And medical professionals, they confirm a range of health benefits for those who have a sense of purpose, ranging from living longer to reduced risk of stroke, Alzheimer's, and other health issues. And business executives, they understand how it's core for employees' performance to have a sense of purpose, because employees who have a sense of purpose are more likely to achieve their goals and overcome stress. And in case you thought purpose's impact was only for old people, young adults who have a sense of purpose have a much higher self-esteem and again, are generally happier overall. And so most of our project teams, we need to have motivation. And when we look at the impact of purpose on motivation, it's huge. Or as Daniel Pink describes in his book, Drive, The Surprising Truth of What Motivates Us, the science of motivation is freaky. He states, carrots and sticks are so last century. For 21st century work, we need to upgrade to purpose, autonomy, and mastery. His book is based upon numerous studies done by MIT and other universities that showed that higher pay and bonuses did result in better performance, but only when it consists of basic mechanical skills, carrot and stick type of motivation. For tasks that consist of cognitive skills, decision-making, creativity, or higher order thinking, like project management, 3 factors motivate. First, purpose. to do meaningful work. Second, autonomy, the desire to be self-directed. And the third, mastery, the desire to get better skills and be good at something. And project managers, I wanted you to pay special attention that project management provides all three of these motivational drivers. Are you providing these on your projects? When we look at project teams, primarily they're made up of millennials. And millennials are those between the ages of 18 and 35. And surprisingly, millennials are the largest generational group in the history of the United States and comprise 26% of the entire US population. And more so than other generations, millennials are value-driven. They want to be part of something larger. In fact, the many articles titled, such as "Millennials Work for Purpose, Not Paycheck," underscore this fact. And given that millennials are value-driven, 40% of all millennials stay on the job for less than 2 years. So if you're a PMO hiring manager and you want to attract and retain the best talent, it's very important that you make sure that you're providing a sense of purpose. And every project manager wants to have a high-performing team, right? A high-performing team are those teams that are focused on goals and achieving superior business results. And one of the core characteristics of a high-performing team, yes, alignment with and commitment to a common purpose. And knowing your highest purpose helps you and your team to guide it through the 1,000 decisions that are made during the course of every project, to keep it aligned with and help it achieve its greater purpose. So these insights have shown me the importance and, yes, the power that purpose plays in all of our projects. Before we understand that link between the project's purpose and portfolio management, let's get a common understanding of what portfolio management is. For you as a project manager to understand how your project helps contribute to the organization objectives, you first need to understand what these objectives are and how they're measured. And not surprisingly, 86% of all employees do not know their organization's strategy or direction. So it's difficult for you as a project manager to know your project's purpose when you may not even be aware of the organization objectives in the first place. Let's keep it really simple. To go from where your organization is to reach its objectives, you have a strategy, a strategic plan. Executing strategy is spending money on projects and programs to help the organization grow the business. Yes, it's projects and programs that are executing the strategy. It all sounds really simple, but it's not. In fact, most organizations are very good at creating a strategy, but they're not very good at executing it. In fact, 40% of all of those initiatives deemed strategic did not reach their goals, and 28% failed outright. And that's where portfolio management fits in. Portfolio management is one of the best ways I know for organizations to select the right projects to grow their business and achieve their objectives. Would you know where portfolio management sits within your organization? If we look at a typical organizational structure as a pyramid, at the top we have a strategic level, which is the vision, the mission, and a strategy. And at the bottom we have the execution level, which is the operations and our projects and programs. And linking these two is a linking level, with operational planning, responsible for planning to run the business, and portfolio management processes, which are helping the organization select the best projects to grow the business. All too often, project selection is done by a combination of who screams the loudest for political reasons or positional power of those in the room. Needless to say, this results in less than stellar strategic progress and even less buy-in from those in the room. With portfolio management, the roles of project selection are agreed up front. And that doesn't eliminate political influence, but it minimizes it and makes the complete process transparent. And since the roles are agreed up front, it greatly increases buy-in from those decision makers in the room. Do you know what's in your portfolio? Portfolios contain projects, programs, and even sub-portfolios. It contains future and ongoing work. And unlike projects and programs, portfolio management continuously helps to guide the organization to select the best projects. One of the best definitions that I like of portfolio management comes from Stanford University's Mastering Portfolio Management course. And it states that portfolio management is strategy-based, prioritized set of projects and programs reconciled to the resources available to perform them. And the one thing I would add is that we're also able to see strategy-based reporting for alignment and balance as well. Portfolio management has 4 goals. The first goal, as you would imagine, is to maximize the value of the portfolio. And the value that is maximized is the expected business value. The second goal is just as important as the first, and probably even more challenging. And that's to work on the right number of projects for the resources available. Like your organization, we still work on too many projects for the resources that we have available. One goal of every PMO should be to get the highest value projects through the pipeline into operations as soon as possible. To move from the idea to operations, it's called throughput. Think of throughput like a highway. When you have too many projects for the resources, it actually slows down all the projects, including the high value projects, resulting in less total value. However, convincing an executive team that working on fewer high value projects results in more value remains a challenge. The third goal of portfolio management is to have balance within the portfolio. Balance aligned to the organization objectives, and they can be dimensions such as risk and reward across product divisions, or even investment time horizon. The fourth goal is to have alignment. Absolutely, we want to make sure what we're working on is aligned to where we're trying to go. And portfolio management presents one of the greatest opportunities for all PMOs. A whopping 72% of all PMOs rate themselves either medium to very low in terms of maturity of their portfolio management office. One of the best quotes that I like that sum up the value of portfolio management comes from Peter Drucker. And isn't there more value in working on the right project to begin with? Okay, now let's take a look to see how portfolio management actually provides the first part of your answer to what is your project's highest purpose. Every organization has many more project proposals than they have resources available to perform them. In order to identify the high-value projects, every project in the portfolio is prioritized by the project's expected value, using the metrics that are aligned to the objectives of the organization. This results in your project's total expected value and how your project contributes to the overall organization objectives. This is the first part of your project's highest purpose. Notice that not all the projects are prioritized and selected based upon pure financial gain. In fact, selecting projects only by financials is still one of the more popular ways to select projects, but one of the worst as far as alignment, balance, and selecting high-value projects. Now let's consider an additional contribution that I think every project makes. All too often, project managers were so busy with day-to-day activities, fighting fires, that sometimes we lose sight of that human contribution that our project makes. For example, at Star Alliance, we are an alliance of 28 leading airlines around the world. No one airline flies to all the airports. Most of our projects are about making for a great customer experience across all connecting flights. Each year, our member airlines fly almost 700 million passengers. That's 700 million individual stories and trips, like grandparents going to see their grandchild for the first time, or businessmen returning home to see their family after a long business trip, or parents taking that trip of a lifetime. You get the picture and the positive impact that our projects make. This positive impact is the second part of your project's highest purpose. I know what many of you are thinking. I have so much to do to manage my own project. Now I have to go out and find my project's highest purpose. But I hope you saw at the first part of this video that having a sense of purpose in all of our projects is a great opportunity to increase motivation, get higher performance, and more importantly, greater fulfillment for you and for your team. Every organization is different in many ways, and finding your highest purpose may not always be a straightforward proposition. If your organization practices portfolio management, then great. Go ask the portfolio manager, what is the expected value of my project and how does it contribute to the overall objectives? If you're in that 86% of all employees who don't know the organization's direction, probably the first place to read is the mission statement, the goals, and other strategy statements. Another logical place to look is, how was your project selected in the first place? How was it selected? Who selected it? And on what basis? And how does your project contribute to the overall objectives? And finally, I encourage every project manager to keep asking why. Why was the project selected and how does it contribute to the overall objectives until you find the answer? Now there's another part to your project's highest purpose, and that's how it contributes to make our lives just a little bit better. And I encourage every project manager just to take a step back and look at the positive contribution that your project makes. By definition, every project is unique, but chances are your project is making a positive difference and impact to our lives. Knowing your highest purpose is one thing, getting the benefits is another. The first thing I would encourage all of you to do is capture it, write it down, put it into the project charter and the project plan. This way, there'll be a common understanding of and alignment with your project's highest purpose. And by all means, communicate it. Communicate it often to all stakeholders, and especially at kickoff meetings to make sure that everybody is aligned to your project's highest purpose. And monitor it, because it may change. In fact, a change in priorities was the #1 reasons project failed in 2017. And finally, make sure it's part of the benefits realization plan so that any gaps between the expected value and the actual value can be identified and actions taken. And it's already there. Your highest purpose is already there. All you have to do is discover it and communicate it to get the benefits. So what happened to Myra? After my reflections of her question, I've explained to her the highest purpose just as I explained it to you. And I'm really pleased to say that the old Myra is back with even more enthusiasm. And like Myra, I hope you have a greater awareness of your project's highest purpose being a great source of motivation, higher performance, and more importantly, happier, more satisfied teams. Knowing your highest purpose in your project is indeed very powerful. And we saw that portfolio management provides a framework for organizations to select the best projects in order to reach their objectives. And your project's highest purpose is a combination of how your project contributes to the organization objectives, plus the positive impact it makes on our lives. So project managers, think about how much better your team will feel and work together knowing your project's greater purpose. Now it's up to you to find, communicate your project's highest purpose. And the price is right, it's free. It's only a small action will provide such a meaningful and rewarding gain. And portfolio managers, I encourage all of you to communicate to all the stakeholders, especially project managers, what is the expected value when the project is given the go decision. I'd like to leave you all with one final thought. We all see the rate of change in the business world happening at an ever faster rate. Every day we see new companies going public and companies that have been around forever going out of business. One source that's driving this change is our creativity. However, creativity by itself does not create the change in our world. Our ideas and concepts become reality only when they are executed via projects. It's project managers like you that help shape the world we live in for the better and are driving this positive change. And when you look at your purpose as a project manager from that perspective, that's a pretty powerful purpose indeed. I'd like to thank you all for watching this video and wish you success on all of your projects.